There's a rhythm to the valleys, a pulse beneath the hills, a silence between the winds. This series is a journey through that rhythm, not just the landscapes, but the moments they shape. The soaked boots, the quiet fires, the thoughts that surface when the world falls away. Trek the Valleys is a cinematic reflection on solitude, resilience, and the wild clarity that comes when we walk alone. Each episode blends soundscapes and stories, memory and meaning, from the echoes of history to the stillness of sunrise. This is just not a trek, it's a return to nature, to self, to the stories we carry. This episode is about wild camping. Not the romanticised kind, but the real kind. The kind that tests you, drenches you, and then rewards you with stillness so deep it clears the mind. From warm soup under a quiet sky, to coffee and porridge as the sun rises over a sleeping valley. This is a story of discomfort turned to peace, and how nature, in its rawest form, can reset something inside us. Welcome to episode 5, Echoes of the Mind. The silence out here isn't empty. It's layered, with breath, with memory, with things I didn't realise I'd been carrying. Each step away from the road feels like shredding something I no longer need. The wind doesn't ask questions, but somehow it answers them. And in the quiet between gusts, I hear echoes of who I used to be. The relentless kid, always searching, always listening. Dusk settles slowly. The light clings to the hills like it's reluctant to leave. I drop my pack. The ground's uneven, but it holds me. And for the first time in days, I feel held. Not by a person, just by a moment. I didn't come here to escape. I came here to remember, to listen, to let the quiet rearrange me. After miles of soaked trail and faded light, I pitch my tent beneath a sky that had already turned. The rain came hard, relentless, dripping through the canvas, waking me in waves. Sheep murmured through the night, and a confused cockerel crowed at anything but dawn. But when the morning broke, it was like the valley had exhaled. The clouds lifted, the silence returned, and I found myself in a place so remote, so perfect, it felt like the world had paused just for me. The cold didn't break me, it held me still, and now the light returns, slow, deliberate, like it's checking to see if I'm ready. Mist curls through the trees, the ridgeline glows soft amber. I unzip my sleeping bag, and the world exhales. There's something about sunrise. It doesn't rush, it doesn't demand, it just arrives. And in that quiet arrival, I feel my mind settle. The noise fades, the thoughts that chase me into the night lose their grip. What's left is simple: breath, light, and the sense that maybe, just maybe, I'm okay. Out here, I don't need to explain myself. The hills don't judge. The sky doesn't interrupt. And the sunrise doesn't fix anything. But it reminds me that healing isn't loud. Sometimes it's just the act of waking up and letting the light in. This first night was brutal. Rain slicing through the canvas, Wind clawing at every corner of my tent. And the sound, relentless. Owls overhead, sheep bleating in the distance like echoes of something ancient. Then came the cockerels, loud, jarring, as if the morning was being dragged in by force. I lay there cold, soaked, heart pounding, wondering what I walked into. But discomfort strips things back, because when the storm passed and the valley exhaled, something shifted. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was alive. Mist curled around the hills like a memory, and the sun didn't just rise, it revealed. This is when I knew. This wasn't just wild camping. This was clarity. This was transformation. I'd moved on. The storm, the soaked canvas, the relentless sound of the valley, they were behind me now. That night had tested me, but it didn't break me. And here I was, under a sky so clear it felt like a promise. The hills bathed in light, the air still, and the land quiet. I could feel it in my bones. This night would be different. Not just easier, but meaningful. Because sometimes clarity doesn't come in the calm, it comes after the storm. After hours of hiking, I found it. A ridge, quiet, exposed, perfect. It looked over the valley like it had been waiting for me. I dropped my pack, pulled out warm soup, and let the steam rise into the cooling air. Dusk crept in slowly. The birds stopped. The insects fell silent. Even the wind held its breath. The only sound left was mine. I lay back and looked up. The stars, clear, unpolluted, endless. It felt like the sky had peeled itself open just for me. And in that moment, I realized how lucky we are to live in these valleys, to walk them, to sleep beneath them, to be part of something this beautiful. I settled into my sleeping bag and slept. Not just rested, slept. Deep, dreamless, held by the land. The best night's sleep I've had in years. And then dawn. The world woke gently. Birds, insects, light scratching across the valley. I unzipped my tent and saw it. A sunrise so beautiful it could be mistaken for heaven. But it wasn't heaven, it was home. The sun's up now. Not high, not loud, just enough to warm the mist, to stretch the shadows, to remind me that clarity doesn't always come in big moments. Sometimes it's just waking up, feeling the light on your face, realizing you're still here. The valleys have seen struggles, protests, industry, silence, and now they see me. Alone, listening, healing. I didn't come here to be fixed. I came here to feel, to remember what still matters when everything else falls away. Mental health isn't a destination. It's a rhythm, and out here in the quiet between the sunrise and the steps, I found mine. Thank you for walking with me today. If this episode spoke to you, if the silence, the sunrise, or the ridge reminded you of something you long forgotten, subscribe to Trek the Valleys and share it with someone who needs a breath of fresh air. You can also follow the journey on Instagram at Trek the Valleys for behind the scene visuals from the trail and reflections that didn't make the mic. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep walking, keep listening, and let the valleys speak.